are far too often made, rather, by street-savvy criminals who know the consequences for illegally carrying a gun in Maryland are non-existent. The District of Columbia and New York, and I'll finish by saying this, have taken bold action to increase illegal gun possession to a felony. And as we look at those two jurisdictions, we've seen some systemic violent crime reductions that we have not seen in our city, and we think that this is a piece to be considered. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I think you're going to have questions, if that's all right.
Sure.
Senator Huff, followed by Senator Casserly, followed by...
A couple questions. I'm reading the bill. It looks like to me, you said illegal guns, but it looks like it's a penalty for basically illegally carrying a gun or illegally transporting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily that the gun isn't yours or registered to you or was legally purchased. Am I reading it wrong?
Absolutely, Senator. I never said there's no such thing as an illegal gun with this bill. It's the illegal possession of a gun that this bill addresses. It has, to be clear, nothing to do whatsoever with our Second Amendment. Nothing.
No,
This is
but I'm saying, like, the difference could be, though, I went to Walmart, I went to the background check, I bought it, but I'm illegally transporting it in my vehicle, I have it in my car loaded. That would be that would be a violation of this, correct? I mean,
It would
but
be.
versus, just let me finish, versus I bought it off the street in Baltimore City, I broke the law, I illegally bought it, it's an illegal gun, as far as that goes.
Well, regardless how someone comes into possession of a firearm, it's illegal to wear, carry, and transport it unless you have a permit to do so. And I'm very aware of all the hypothetical scenarios that exist, coming from a Walmart, for instance, going to an airport, for instance, going to a gun range. And that's why this bill is so thoughtful, because it takes the request of the prosecutor, the state's attorney, to get into the mandatory part of this bill. It's not automatic. There is discretion built into it. I'm aware of all the hypothetical scenarios that may exist and people may bring forward, but
I just wanted to
there are
understand.
exceptions to the rule.
I just want to understand. So the penalty, the mandatory, is for basically illegal transport of a firearm. And so also, I'm looking at the fiscal note. The current penalty, it says, because you said it's 30 days, but subject to a mandatory minimum sentence ranging from 30 days to 5 years, and a maximum penalty of 3 years for a first offense or 10 years if the violator has specified prior convictions. So it's not just 30 days. It sounds like there's, it sounds like there's a range of options under the current law.
I think the big distinction here, Senator, is that it's the discretion now that Maryland judges have, and that discretion is exercised in a way where the vast majority of offenders, not just in Baltimore, but in other jurisdictions that experience a significant amount of violence, folks are not going to jail for illegally carrying a firearm in our state.
It's fascinating. So Baltimore City, that's interesting. So they're picking them up for illegally. They're picking these, young guys up or gals, whatever, that for illegally carrying, and then they're charging with just that, and they're not getting any time or anything.
That's been going on for a number of years. That's correct, Senator.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank
Pleasure
you,
to see
Senator.
you. So going back to the current law is 30 days, and we're asking for an increase, a non-discretionary increase to minimum of a year. That's where we are right now.
For Senator, that would be for a first conviction.
First conviction.
And only if the state's attorney requests.
Well, I get that, but that's every criminal law that's on the books in the state of Maryland right now is absolutely at the discretion of the state's attorney, including murder. I mean, state's attorney wants to let you off with murder, they can let you off with murder. That's prosecutorial discretion. So that's not really relevant that the state's attorney has discretion, because they always have prosecutorial discretion, right?
Well, invoking the mandatory part of the bill certainly is a matter of discretion, and it's built into the wording of this bill.
So
I
you
think it's
say
important.
that the state's attorney can seek the mandatory or not mandatory?
Correct.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at that.
And maybe I'll let my partner from our state's
I just see
attorney.
it says a person who violates this is subject to, for the first offense, is guilty of misdemeanor on conviction is subject to imprisonment for not less than 1 year and not exceeding 5 years. I say if the state intends to proceed against a person, the state shall comply with the procedural requirements for subsequent offender. So they could always just not give the notice for subsequent offender, but, okay.
Right, for that rare instance
Yeah.
of a person who the prosecutors believe made a mistake, for instance, in good faith, that's why that discretion is built in from the state's attorney's office. They can seek to
Okay, thank you.
mandatory or not.
Thank you very much. Do you have any statistics on what is actually being dealt out right now? What's being imposed for handgun violations?
We do, and I think when you get to the next speaker, Mr. Tony
Okay.
Joyer from the state's attorney's office,
I won't be unfair to you.
he's going to offer that to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
your
you,
answer.
Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll also thank you for being here. I
Thanks,
understood you to say, in response to one of these gentlemen's questions, that this only is going to apply to illegal guns or guns and crimes.
Senator, there's no such thing as an illegal gun. It's the illegal possession of a gun.
Illegal possession. But didn't I also understand you to say involved somehow in crime? I mean,
No, so that would be another charge. For instance, if someone used a firearm in the commission of a murder or a robbery or a carjacking or a sex offense, those additional crimes would be charged.
that's what I thought you were saying. But then I look at page 2 of the bill, and it says, except as provided in subsection B of this section, a person may not wear, carry, or transport a handgun, whether concealed or open, on or about the person. That's the crime right there. And then you skip down to the middle of the page, line 13, it just says, and if it happens to be loaded, then we have these mandatory minimums. So if I purchased the gun, but I don't have a concealed carry permit, I own it lawfully, but I have it tucked in the back of my pants, and if I do something really stupid, that's a violation of the law, and this would, if it was loaded, even if there's not a round chamber, if there's bullets in the gun,
Senator, that's a violation of the law today. Owning a gun legally does not allow you to wear, carry, or transport
and
it
I'm
in public.
agreeing with you, but if I do something that stupid, to have it in the back of my pants, you think I should have this mandatory minimum?
Senator, respectfully, I don't think it's something that people do that's stupid. I think it's a choice people make to arm themselves in Maryland because they know if they're caught by the police, that the worst thing that can happen to them is a conviction on a misdemeanor.
And again, that's what I thought you were saying. It's a lawful gun. I'm a lawful citizen. I do something stupid and forgot that I have this,
Commit a crime, yes, sir.
and that's the crime. That's what I wanted you to say. That is the crime.
It's the
And
crime
you're
now.
saying- Okay, thank you.
It's a crime now, yes, sir.